Hi, my name is Patrick Kramer, and I'm doing another presentation for my capstone, building a stronger nonprofit workforce by improving canvasser retention at Fund for the Public Interest and all of its other subsidiaries underneath it, including NC and Environment North Carolina. And the next step in this is working on a implementation plan for some of our, to see the changes that I want to see happen. Um, so in this slide, we're going to talk about a 6-month implementation plan is the best way to do this. On phase one, I want to talk about collecting. It's 1 month. The first month, I want to collect all of that quantitative and qualitative data that we talked about in the last presentation. That's, employee turnover rate, average employee tenure, exit surveys, all of that, and get that in the hand, collect all of that, start talking to the field managers and directors, get them on board, get them in the know, and start working on a retention strategy. Start focusing on what important information is it that needs to be transferred from some of the effective, better canvassers to the newer canvassers and start making time for that to happen or start expecting for that to happen. In the next two or in the phase two, months 2 to 3, start actually doing that. Assign effective canvassers that are field managers or just very effective canvassers to the newer people, to the people who have just started and maybe aren't getting as don't have as good of a background with this kind of job. Start actually having that talk with them, dedicate time so that they have more time to be trained, even at the cost of less canvassing, and start standardizing that. Start having a plan for what exactly are the key principles that we want to teach these people and where are we failing and what we need to work on. In the next 4 to 5 months, I'm sorry, in the next in phase three, in months 4 to 5, actually start surveying the employees. Start asking them if how they feel about this. Has there been a change in the last couple of months? Um, have there been any differences in the exit interviews as opposed to 4 to 5 months ago? Is there a change in the organization? Is there a change in the culture about how this is working? And review that turnover data one more time so that, you can see if anything like quantitative has changed. Um, and then in the last month 6, this whole entire plan is supposed to be, malleable. If there is if some people have ideas that seem to be working or someone's doing something better and other people are failing in some aspects, be adjust if things need be. Some organizations may not all fit in the same box, and if something needs to be adjusted, adjust it appropriately. And then if it works in our smaller in just North Carolina and just Chapel Hill, maybe start trying it in other canvassing offices outside of North Carolina and see if it works in Massachusetts or maybe in California or Oregon, where they're having the same kind of issues, and start trying to make it more, organization wide. The resources necessary to do this are mostly human resources like time and effort, but there are some, physical resources as well. Um, for the most part, you're going to just need a lot of effort from the people at the top. You're going to need executive directors, campaign directors, field managers, and good canvassers to be able to make time for this, to be able to talk to people and start imparting wisdom to some of these new people. And that might come at the cost of less canvassing, which has been calculated in my costs. Which is between $8,000 to $12,000. It's also supposed to be pretty cheap. We are working with a nonprofit. They generally have a limited means of funds. Most of the technology necessary is already existing and relatively cheap. Um, Microsoft Teams, Excel, HR records that should cost zero. Uh, Pretty basic. And then also partnerships between, like I said, Fund for the Public is an umbrella of groups. Environment North Carolina and CPIRG are both sister organizations. There are several others as well, and maybe they can work together to like dedicate some effective trainers to be able to come and train other people, even if they aren't working on the exact same canvassing, campaign. They all share the same goals and talent and skills that they could teach new people. Um, some of the risks. The first risk is that managers may just not have enough time to mentor new employees. Like I said, it's a lot of effort and time dedicated to it. The way to solve that, I think, is just to, instead of make more time, reallocate time outside of canvassing to training. I think that would be fine because it's all, it wouldn't be any more time. It would just be different time. Um, Number two, employees may resist changes to onboarding. I think that is kind of just I mean, any sort of organizational change will have resistance to it. That is just kind of growing pains. I don't think that that should be a very difficult thing to overcome. Risk three, limited nonprofit budget could delay implementation. Like I said before, it is a nonprofit. We're working with very limited funds. Um, if there needs to be a sudden cash flux, that's just probably not going to happen. Things people need to make do with whatever they have. That's kind of the name of the game. And then outside of NC Perg and Environment North Carolina, if other company or organizations want to adopt this kind of template, what I can guess is that urban offices will work better than rural offices because urban offices will get a larger workforce, which means there will be more skilled canvassers because you'll have a larger pool to pick from, which will equal easier mentoring. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Hang on. Easier mentoring. Rural offices will struggle with smaller staff, fewer mentors, more difficult recruitment. The workforce foresight, basically the whole goal that we're trying to do is have a transfer of knowledge from, the very top, office directors to um, field managers to canvassers and then to new people. That's the whole goal. By doing this, by creating mentors that can actually spend their time on the clock doing this, I think it'll be a lot easier to have more skilled canvassers, which then can teach newer canvassers to have more skilled canvassers and kind of, again, get that avalanche approach again, where, you can kind of build momentum as it goes and just have more and more people. I also think it's important to well, not focus on, but mention the nonprofit career ladder, canvasser, field manager, office director, regional director. That way people don't feel like this is just something to come do and be gone with, like this can be a career and it is an important one. And, people do make it their lives. And it's important to show that so that people don't feel like they're gonna burn out so quickly. Um, And then our emerging technology, AI tools such as ChatGPT and Claude, they're generally useful for like a training guide if you want to make something easy, a quick training guide, something that you're like when you're brainstorming things to like work on or something. Frequently asked documents if they're, yeah. New employee resources, again, for like kind of those frequently asked questions. And then also survey summaries so they can kind of take a lot of information and kind of make it simple to understand. But they're limited because most of what we're going to be doing is human interactions because, we do door-to-door canvassing, which ChatGPT can't do. So most of what you got to do is teach a human will be teaching another human for the most part. Um, uh, but with that, there are data ethics to abide by. You want to be able to protect employee privacy. No confidential information should be ever entered into AI. Humans review all of AI content. And then the limitations. AI, I sort of mentioned it. AI can't replace managers. AI can't support, I'm sorry, AI should support and not make personnel decisions. And then human judgment must remain essential. And then this is a quote from an IBM training manual in 1979. A computer can never be held accountable. Therefore, a computer must never make management decisions. And I just think that's great because it really kind of sits in today's, environment where there's a lot of AI and a lot of things. But that is my presentation. And yep, here are my references. And I did use AI. So, but I'm, a human managing it. Anyways, thank you very much.